All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Hope you guys are doing good today. It is Tuesday. A lot of stuff happened overnight and really deep into last night's, after hour session. The president fired Governor Cook into last night's. The Fed fired Governor Cook, caused some initial negative reactions in markets, and kind of started a lot of fears, and then again, the president announced he's removed Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook, citing mortgage-related issues. Fed independence concerns spike. Cook's disputing the legality and vows not to resign. Yields are up and futures are down a little bit. The dollar's weakening and gold is pushed all the way up to 34.25 right now. Nvidia's in focus. Tomorrow we have Nvidia earnings. Trading slightly higher ahead of their earnings, which could shake up tech, AI, and really the broad market. Palantir is still sliding, however, it's sitting right around 150, and it's been there for a while now. Roblox is bouncing over 6% thanks to upbeat analyst sentiment and buying interest. Today we have MongoDB, OKTA, Box, Encino, and PVH earnings. We got PCE due Friday, GDP data due Thursday. And that's the market right now. Very interesting day. NASDAQ, it went all the way up to 23.5 even, and then came all the way back down to 23.470, where it's sitting now. Just broke under the 200 exponential, under 475. I'm watching for that level right now. Gold's really interesting today. We might trade some gold this morning. Yeah, and that's what we got going on right now in markets. Let me know what you guys think of everything. We'll do a poll today. I'm just going to do, does the market close red or green today? Vote on the poll. Let me know how you feel. SPY technically red, but basically flat. It's not really super, not really moving much. The CME rate cut odds are basically right where they were yesterday at about 84.16. If we take a look at 10-year treasuries, they're at 4.25%, 4.295%. They're actually elevated a little bit today relative to where they were yesterday. If we look at this, right? So like here's yesterday, which was the 25th here, and now we have been basically moving up. We're at 4.3% essentially right now, around 4.3%, slightly under that, slightly under, but you can kind of see we have moved up a little bit. Been pulling back some over the last few hours, but yields are still elevated right now. Gold is up right now. I don't know whether gold's going to close red or green, but we might try to trade it just based off of, how gold looks. Yeah, we might we might try to trade it. All right, so China Premier Li says China is to promote high quality development of service trade and should actively expand quality service imports. PetroChina proposes to buy gas storage firms for 40 billion CNY, according to Bloomberg. Spotify is introducing messages. It's going to start rolling out to free and premium users over 16. IBM and AMD joined forces to build the future of computing to integrate tech for emerging algorithms. JP Morgan Q2 card sales growth exceeded plus 7% year over year, according to the Wall Street Journal. I'm looking at other breaking news that we might... All right, so China's State Council issues guidelines for deep implementation of AI plus initiatives targeting full integration by 2027. Still looking to see if anything else relevant came out for markets today. But the big news is honestly the president firing Cook and her refusal to step down. That's what's going on today. We also have durable good orders later this morning. So we do have durable good orders coming out today. Yeah, we got durable goods. Core durable goods are the most important. We got the Case-Shiller House Price Index at 9. We got CB Consumer Confidence at 10. We got GDP jobless claims Thursday. NVIDIA earnings tomorrow. PCE data Friday. So a lot of stuff going on. Looking at our votes right now, 66% think the market closes red today. 34% think green. Nasdaq still rejecting that 200 exponential moving average here as well. AT&T is hitting a $23 billion deal to buy Spectrum licenses from EchoStar. So they agreed to purchase certain wireless Spectrum licenses from EchoStar for a total of approximately $23 billion. It's going to add an average of approximately 50 megahertz of low band and mid band spectrum to AT&T holdings. Netflix is expanding into live sports, wins Japanese rights to 2026 World Baseball Classic. So it's at all 47 games in the 2026 tournament. For its subscribers in Japan, it will be streaming both live and on demand, marking the streaming company's first live broadcast event in that country. They didn't announce the deals of it, but again, Netflix expanding there. Morgan Stanley, who originally thought the Fed would pause, and BNP Paribas says they are shifting the Fed stance. So two of the last few remaining Wall Street holdouts on the Fed easing next month have finally conceded defeat and now expect the central bank to lower interest rates in September. Yeah, another thing, the president also sent another letter to Jerome Powell, which people are worried about the Fed's independence here. Yeah, Friday will be important. Open, a lot of people still talking about OPEN. It's red today, slightly red. Slightly red. Went up yesterday to almost 6, back down to 450. It's kind of too volatile. Like, it might move big, but it's a little risky for me. Sorry, I'm drinking coffee right now. Bitcoin's still pretty down on the day, under 111,000. Under 111. Again, gold moving up to 34.24s here. Still heading up. I don't know if we're going to get any shocking news or anything that might move this, but China's supposed to, so Premier Lee speaking, he said they're going to promote opening up trade and services, and they're going to study ways to boost services, trade, innovation. According to CCTV, he said, quote, "We must create a favorable environment for service imports." We also have Union Pacific reaching out to CSX only after exclusivity with Norfolk Southern, which is NSC symbol, according to CNBC citing sources. Yeah, gold popped up. Will GDP or PCE numbers cause more volume in markets? Probably PCE data. PCE data, GDP data is lagging, and so is PCE to a certain extent, but the Fed looks at PCE data. But GDP data is lagging, but it still might be somewhat relevant considering, we've had a couple tumultuous quarters in the market, right? So GDP is probably still relevant, but PCE is probably more influential. More people are going to be watching PCE probably on Friday. So it's not nothing for sure. When gold prices goes up means the market goes down. Sometimes they follow each other. All right, and again, you can see the NASDAQ has pulled back from 23.5s all the way down to 23.470, so it's pulled back about $30. Again, gold on the right side here, you can see it's been pushing up. I almost want to short it here, but I'll wait. Thinking about playing gold this morning. Yeah, the NASDAQ went red because of Fed. Yeah, that's what happened. Again, people worried about Fed's independence. Again, the rate cut odds haven't really changed that much from all this stuff, though. Like, if you take a look at this, rate cut odds and yields are still essentially betting on a cut next month. So we look at the CME watch tool. Everybody's basically betting. It's 85.15. I mean, this is subject to change, especially based off of PCE data on Friday. We also have another labor report next week. We got non-farm payrolls, unemployment next week. And so next week's not small either. You know, we got a lot of stuff. And then the week after that, we get CPI, inflation, and more. And I think we're also supposed to get another revision to the labor report next maybe it's not next week, it might be the week afterwards. Like during the CPI week, I think we're gonna get another revision to the labor report. All right, guys, so NASDAQ is down, rejected 475 here. Do I want to short this, or what do I want to do? What do you guys think? Yeah, Nvidia earnings are going to be probably the biggest thing. I do think there's a probability that we're just going to get choppiness, though. Like, I'll short it, we get some more upward push, but might regret not shorting it here. We got two big resistance areas that I see on the chart. We have the 200 exponential. We have this support and resistance level at 23,475 that you can kind of see we reject directly off of here. And so whenever we get that, I'm usually more interested in attacking the downward push. I mean, we could always break over this, but that's kind of what I'm looking at. Remember, guys, not an investment professional, not liable if you lose money. Always make your own assessment, trade smart. I can't guarantee anything. Don't copy me. Not market professionals, you know, don't copy me. If you lose, it's not my fault, basically. What I'm saying. We'll see what we get. I'm waiting. I'm gonna try to find some good stuff to trade. It's 7:30 in the morning. We do have durable good orders in about an hour here, which we will cover. Durable goods. Yeah, maybe I should have shorted. Look at this drop. Here's Amazon today. Amazon slightly red as well. A lot of stuff's mostly red. Nvidia is actually green leading into their earnings here. So if you look at Nvidia, Nvidia's up to over 180s. Google, slightly red, but not too much. I keep seeing all these tweets regarding Powell shifting his stance on keeping a 2% average rate. I don't know if he's going to shift his stance on wanting 2% inflation, but it all has to do with what the priority is at the given moment. I think what a lot of people are reacting to, yeah, maybe I should have short that idea would have worked. What I think a lot of people are reacting to is, I think people are reacting to Powell being a lot more dovish on Friday than expected. During Jackson Hole, Powell was a lot more dovish. His speech was a lot more dovish. It was a lot more fearful of economic weakness. He said that, you know, that some of the data might signal, you know, potential easing coming and all this other stuff. And so with that, people have gotten a lot more dovish. And then originally we reacted really positively on a dovish Powell speech. We kind of corrected a little bit since then. But I think rate cuts and that stuff are basically getting baked into the market right now. is what we're seeing. So we're kind of seeing like rate odds get kind of baked into everything now. Look at this drop. But Fed's Cook also disputed the president's authority and said that she will not quit, according to WAPO. Now I kind of want to buy this. I'm going to buy a little bit here. Maybe add a little bit on the downside, but it's small. All right, there's 3. Gonna get in one more here, 4. Okay, so we got a couple micros. Let's see if we can get a good trade here on the upside. Kind of catching a falling knife, but that's all right. I think it's like a big chance we're gonna be sideways, unless this is catalyst driven, which it certainly could be. If it is, we'll just cut it. I think we could bounce at 450 right here too, so I'll give it a second to see if we do bounce there. I'm not gonna add any more to it, but. Gotta watch NVIDIA as well, though. If NVIDIA starts breaking down, this could drive it lower. All right, here's that 450 level. Well, we did bounce there, but it's definitely not a big bounce like I wanted yet. I'm gonna cut half of this just to protect the trade. It's just safer. All right, we're right back up. Maybe I could have held that. Look at that. We just tapped our level. Why did it just cut the... Dude, I keep mismanaging these. I mean, I'm only down 30-something bucks, so it's very small, but... We got the bounce exactly to my level, but once we reject it here, I think I just had to cut it. Hey, what's up, Blaze? Why the market drops? Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's necessarily PCE on Friday making the market drop. I think there's other stuff going on overnight that's causing the market to drop. Market's probably dropping a mix of getting baked into potential outcomes for NVIDIA earnings. A lot of the time, NVIDIA reacts negatively to their earnings report. So a lot of the time, NVIDIA actually goes the other way from their earnings. And not necessarily... green. It can go green certainly, but it's not necessarily what it does, right? NVIDIA a lot of the time goes the opposite way, and so I think that's one of the things. We also, most of the market's down today because of a reaction to the Fed Cook president firing. Like the president fired the Fed Governor Cook, or is pressuring her to. She's saying she's refusing to step down, but I think there's fears of the Fed's independence because of that. That's why the market's down right now. PCE later, maybe we'll react some to that, but you never know. But yeah, the market's down, not necessarily from PCE. It's down from a lot of other stuff happening, essentially. Hey, what's up, good news? Alright, so I took half of this all. I got a little trade in here, I'll show you. We're up about 20 ticks, maybe more. I'll probably hold this break even though and just let it run. Well, the Fed is supposed to be an independent agency. So the Fed, even though it has Fed in its name, is not a government agency. It's a private entity. So that's kind of where the dispute lies. And again, the president can't fire her directly. By law, the Federal Reserve Act, governors can only be removed for cause, meaning misconduct or neglect of duty, not for policy disagreements. The standard is meant to safeguard the independence of the central bank from political pressure. Courts have upheld similar cases in the past, though, right? So courts have upheld previous instances of this. All right, so we're back up here. But I'll cut this break even if it starts to flush like this. Yeah, so we got out. We made a little bit of money on the trade. That's good, but it just flushed all the way back down. But yeah, so it's almost certainly going to face a legal challenge. And governor could refuse to resign, take it to court, and maybe win a reinstatement unless genuine misconduct was proven. So yeah, it's kind of controversial, legally untested. And she has already come out saying that she will not resign voluntarily. It could turn into a showdown, like a legal showdown. So we'll see what happens there. I'm not disagreeing with any of it. It's scaring markets because it challenges, the Fed's independence. Yields are up a little bit today, showing worries there. It requires legal cause, which I'm not saying there is or isn't. But it'll be interesting if this goes deeper. Cannabis stocks. Let me look deeper into this. Yeah, the president's supposed to be considering reclassification. Tilray is up 21% almost. CGC, Canopy Growth Company, is up 13.4%. ACB up 4.8%. Cron down 0.2%, lagging. Yeah, so this is potentially investor sentiment responding to hopes of less regulatory burden. And the president's signal towards revisiting cannabis classification, potentially moving to Schedule 3, is what they're talking about. What are you talking about? Drop? That doesn't really make any sense. Legally speaking, it's a pretty strong case because you can't deduct from more than one primary residence. Yeah. You talk about the homestead exemption? Alright, so we're still consolidating at the bottom. Gold's still pushing up, though. Yeah, so again, the president's claiming Cook committed deceitful and potentially criminal conduct by allegedly listing two different properties, one in Michigan, another in Georgia, as her primary residence to secure better mortgage terms. These allegations were brought to light by Bill Polt, in a referral to the Department of Justice. So they're trying to invoke a provision in the Federal Reserve Act. He alleges that this misconduct proves legal costs to remove her. Yeah, I mean... So yeah, this is mortgage application stuff. Yeah, it's a mess. Again, I'm not agreeing, disagreeing with any of this stuff. I'm just covering the news, chat. Bitcoin down still, though, not looking good. I would assume, you know, I would say the odds in the last 24 to 48 hours for a rate cut are up. I don't know why Bitcoin's fallen down on a more dovish outlook for next month. But it's interesting nonetheless. We're still falling pretty quickly here. And again, we got durable good orders coming out in about, what, 45 minutes? All right, so now we're starting to pop back up. We're over 450, and 450 has been holding. All right, guys. So maybe I should have held that long, but we made a little money on the last one. Nvidia still holding though. Nvidia over 180s. We got like Apple here, slightly red at 226. AMD's up nicely today after they announced that deal earlier. %56% of people think we have a red day. 44% of people think we got a green day, according to my numbers here. Again, AMD was upgraded this morning at Truist. GNRC was downgraded at Citigroup. Kind of flattening out, though. Yeah, I mean, I get it. You guys don't like Bitcoin, but Bitcoin's still at 110,000. If we're talking about since 2009, literally even since just 2020, 2018, 2019, Bitcoin has gone from $3,000 a coin or less up to 110,000. And I know if you missed out on this, you know, you might be a little upset. And I get it. Listen, I get it. But I don't know. Bitcoin is still the single best performing asset over the last 20 years. So, I mean, if it pulls back $10,000, you know, does that really mean it's bad? I don't necessarily think so. $100x on Bitcoin. Chuck E. Cheese tokens? The GOAT. I used to take my daughter to Chuck E. Cheese all the time, bro. All the time I used to bring her to Chuck E. Cheese. It's not that we don't do sarcasm. It's all good, Ty. I appreciate you commenting here. I really do. Right? But it's not that we don't do sarcasm. It's that sarcasm is impossible to tell through tech. Right? If you're going to be sarcastic, it's got to be something very obvious. Oh, I see what you're saying now. In hindsight, rereading your comment, I could see how it's sarcastic. So, basically what you're saying is people have been saying it's going to zero since 2008, and during that period of time it's gone up ridiculous percentages. So I understand the sarcasm now, but it's hard to tell sarcasm through text, just to clarify. Yeah, I have Bitcoin, I have a bunch of other stuff. Chuck E. Cheese tokens, the GOAT, man. All right, Nasdaq's coming back down. Look at this drop. We are down to 448. It's under 450 now. Looks pretty weak here, though. It still looks pretty weak. Morgan Stanley sees Fed cutting starting in September now, like I said. So Morgan Stanley now expects the Fed to begin cutting rates in September after Powell signaled greater concern over labor market risks at Jackson Hole Symposium. They now forecast a 25 basis point cut next month, another in December, and then quarterly 25 basis points cuts until interest rates get down to 2.75 to 3% for the federal funds rate by the end of next year. That's earlier but slightly shallower than its previous outlook. Still, a September move isn't guaranteed. Strong payrolls or tariff-driven inflation could delay cuts, right? Yeah, so, again, as I've said 1,000 times, since, over the last few weeks, really, what's going to influence whether we cut rates, there's still things. Payrolls next week, PCE this week. If PCE is inflated and payrolls are strong, that'll be bad. For rate cuts, especially. I mean, I think it's objectively bad anyway. High inflation and, is bad. But Kathy Woods just sold $1.6 million of a stock. What did she sell? I hate these articles. They make you dig to see what stock it is. They hold the carrot right in front of your face, and then they're like, nope, they make you go down a freaking rabbit hole just to figure out what they're talking about. Okay, so Kathy Wood sold 1.6 million of Robinhood. When did she do this? Robinhood is still very strong, man. I remember when this one was $12 a share. Where can you buy this shirt? Listen, the greatest shirt of all time. Listen, my Adidas shirt. This is my 90s shirt right now. Don't judge me. All right, so INDV is reportedly exploring strategic alternatives for both OpV and its non-US business. Listen, guys, it's 6:50 in the morning here in Texas. All right. Look, I'll wear a suit next time. I'm not gonna wear a suit, but, I'm gonna put on a suit next time. I don't know. I think this shirt might make me look more thick, Pew. Dude, I'm not going to get up at 6:50. I'm not going to get up at 6 a.m. and throw a suit on because I'm on YouTube. I'm good. I feel like that would be fake anyway. I'm just going to wear whatever's comfortable. It's 3:50 in Alaska. Yeah, I'll get a bow tie. I'll be like Pee-wee, Enphase looking strong. Yeah, I can get a robe. I'd actually do a robe. Hey, thank you for the $5 donation, Rusty. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I'm gonna get a bow tie. Thoughts on United thoughts on United Health? I don't know. I've already ridden United Health up. I see all these posts that are like, yeah, I told you to buy United Health. It's like, dude, I actually bought United Health at like 240. Rode it all the way up to 300, and then now I'm out of it, and it's basically been flat. If we pull back big, I don't know. I think I'm not saying the edge is gone, But I've made my money in United Health over the last few weeks. I just don't know if I'm going to buy back into it now. I like to kind of bottom feed this type of stuff where I like to buy pullbacks and dips and then ride the bounces up and then scale out of it. And so as of now, I just don't know how much the edge. I don't know how much I like the edge here for UNH. Hey, thank you, Squid. Appreciate it, brother. Thank you, sir. Trolls out today? Yeah. I'm a troll too, so I can't get too upset, you know. Kind of. As long as it's friendly trolling and not like... It depends on what kind of troll, right? Like somebody that's just kind of trying to poke buttons in a friendly way, fine. I'll joke and engage with them back with that. But somebody that's like secretly bitter, you know? People are talking about Eminem in the chat. People that are secretly bitter and just mad about their own stuff, and so they're lashing out at me. That's a different type of thing, you know? And you get those too. Those people are just... I feel bad for them. I genuinely do, like, feel bad for them. You got some people that are just off, that, you know, seem like they're genuinely just struggling. And for whatever reason, I'm driving it somehow, you know. Yeah, today's is mostly harmless. It's all good. I appreciate you guys, so it's all good. All right. So NASDAQ is bounced twice and then come right back down. We're kind of sitting in this sideways level. Nvidia's still kind of moving up. We're at 180.60s right now, 180.60, so we're kind of creeping up. Bitcoin still, you know, under 110. Gold has been pushing up for the last hour or so. You know, when I was 20, I was like 130 pounds, you know? And so if people are calling me heavier, I'm okay with it. I really am. I'd rather be that than 130 pounds, you know? SMTC? Let's see. All right, NASDAQ pushing back up. It's at 460s. We're at 5260s. AMD. AMD's up a lot today. They announced a couple different partnerships this morning. Apple, Google. What else did I buy a few weeks ago? I'm still in some of it here. Hold on. Yeah. So I bought HIMS. My average price in HIMS is like 41. It's at 43s. We already scaled out a lot once it hit like 44s and 45s the last few days. We bought Crocs. We bought Crocs at 75. It's at 86. We bought PayPal at 68s. It's at 69s. We bought Target at 94s. It's at 97s. Hit 99s a few days ago that we scaled out of already. So all the positions we bought the last few days, or the last few weeks, have done pretty well so far. We'll see if they continue to do well. Will PCE or PPI move the market more? I don't know. That one's more close in terms of influence. PPI might be more important because the last PPI report was wild, like super hot, shockingly high, and that freaked everybody out. And so because of that, more eyes might be on PPI this time. But PCE is relevant as well. PCE usually gets a little bit less attention, but it's actually the Fed's preferred inflation metric. So, you know, it depends. NASDAQ bouncing back up. Here's 475 and then the 200 exponential at 472. We'll see if the market reacts to this. Yeah, I'm still in target. All right, look at, we're up to 471s. No, I'm not messing with CRBL. Right now, it's too volatile. You know, here's the problem though, okay? Is that I get why people are mad, but I also think logos evolve over time. You know, listen, leave the old man in his rocking chair. I'm okay with that. You know, like, I don't know why they're changing it anyway. I like Cracker Barrel. From somebody that's actually eaten at Cracker Barrel a lot, Cracker Barrel's good. You know, they got chicken and dumplings and pancakes. Comfort food. I like it. But I also don't understand all the people, like, I don't understand the people getting involved. Look at us reject right there at 472, right around the 200 exponential on the NASDAQ. I don't understand why a new CEO would come in and immediately start changing stuff like this. Like, haven't they ever seen what happened to Snow White, the movie? You know what I mean? Like, if you come in and immediately attack a large portion of your consumer base, what do you think is going to happen? Same thing with Elon Musk on the other side of it, right? It's the exact same thing. You know, if you come in and you criticize a large percentage of your customer base, what do you think is going to happen? You know, on both sides. Be smart, guys. Be smart. But yeah, they're down a large percentage. It's from 72s down to 54s. I love Cracker Barrel, bro. It's good. I'm a pancake person. So, like, I eat pancakes. Every time I travel to Michigan, I eat way too many pancakes. And some of the times it's at Cracker Barrel. But yeah, I like Cracker Barrel. They've got candy. They've got all the foods I shouldn't be eating right now. Here come the jokes, too. The jokes are coming. All right, so let's see if we can get over 475. Yeah, definitely top 3, for sure. Nah, we don't go to Denny's anymore. My daughter went to Denny's one time, a long time ago, and then got sick, and now we've never been back to a Denny's. Honestly, it made my daughter, it kind of shows that you can program what food you eat. Like, you can program what you eat. The way you program what your body craves is you fast, and you get really, really hungry, and then whatever you want to crave, like if you want to crave healthier foods, then you eat a bunch of healthier foods, right? And your body will then crave those foods when it gets hungry. And the reverse is true if you get sick. Like, my daughter got sick one time from Denny's and then didn't eat breakfast food for like 5 years. Like, she would not eat eggs, like not eggs that are breakfast eggs. She wouldn't eat pancakes. She wouldn't eat bacon. She wouldn't eat any of that stuff because she got sick one time from Denny's and just refused to eat it. And that happened to me one time. The last time I ate, what's the Italian, like, potato pasta, like, shell thing? I can't remember what it's called. It's called some Italian name. I can't remember what it is. But I got sick eating those one time, and I haven't eaten them since. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. Honestly, Red Lobster looks good. Their seafood bags or whatever those things are, that looks good. I've seen some videos of those online. Alright, guys. Anyways. NASDAQ rejecting this 200 EMA. We're not really going anywhere. We don't have a lot of range to attack today. It is the day before NVIDIA earnings tomorrow afternoon. Yeah, I mean, I'm from Louisiana. So, of course, I like gumbo, you know, and other Louisiana foods. All right, so we're at 460s. This could be a bounce level, but I don't think we really have much of a range. I could have shorted the 200 exponential rejection here. I think bears have been in control since the big news that came out overnight. Do we have any more jobs reports this month? We've got GDP, we got PCE inflation. We got jobless claims unemployment on the 28th on Thursday. That's the next job report. But outside of that, we don't have any more labor reports. Like, we don't have any more actual labor reports. Oh, we got durable goods today. I completely forgot. Yeah, we got durable good orders. The news overnight was that the president is now pushing. The president is trying to fire Cook for calls. He also sent a letter to Powell. Cook said she's going to fight it. And that is making markets fearful overnight. Markets originally dropped pretty big last night from it, and we've since rebounded a little bit back up. It's the day before Nvidia earnings. A lot of stuff's going on today. And so we'll see what the market does. We've gotten choppiness over the last hour or two, but yeah. Nvidia earnings tomorrow evening. It's at 4:20 Eastern Standard Time is when they're technically scheduled to release, but they could drop anytime. Amazon red. Nvidia is actually technically green. The SPY is red though. NASDAQ is red. A lot of other tech is green, or a lot of other tech is red, but Nvidia is green ahead of their earnings report. AMD is actually up a lot as well from a deal with another company as well as an upgrade this morning. Oh, I know. Good news about your dog, Sam. Glad to hear that, bro. Yeah, and I do intermittent fasting, Pawn, and my wife's always yelling at me to eat healthier, right? Like, she wants me to eat healthy. You know, I eat comfort food a lot. I eat like burgers and fries and fried chicken and like all this different stuff, right? So I love that type of stuff. But my wife's always getting on to me about how I need to be healthier. So what I'll do is I'll fast all day and I won't eat all day. And then at the very end of the day when I'm starving, I'll eat some healthier foods. I'll eat like baked chicken instead, you know, and sweet potatoes and, you know, cauliflower. And what it'll do is it'll make me actually like that food more, and I'll eat it more the next day. And, you know, and so it works. There's a couple books about how you can kind of program what you eat. And that's how you do it, is you wait until you get really, really hungry, and then you eat whatever you want to eat. Or you eat the foods you'd like to change in your diet, you know. Yeah, again, so technically looking at the Fed, Cook, you know, Trump is claiming she committed deceitful and potentially criminal conduct by listing 2 different properties in Michigan and in Georgia as her primary residence to secure better mortgage terms. That's the for cause removal justification by the president. I'm not saying I agree with this. I'm just saying this is what is going on right now. But remember, the president can't fire her directly. They can only be removed for cause, meaning misconduct or neglect of duty, not for policy disagreements. The standard is meant to safeguard the central bank's independence. U.S. Commerce Secretary Lutnick says the grant previously given to Intel asked for nothing, according to CNBC. But if we look at the Cook president drama, courts have upheld similar for cause protections for independent agencies previously, and so the president attempting to remove her over policy would almost certainly face a legal challenge. She could refuse to resign, take it to court, and maybe win unless a genuine misconduct was proven. And so his statement about removing her is legally untested and controversial. So that's where we are at this point in time. And again, today we got durable good orders in about 24 minutes. Yeah, the core durable goods is going to be the most important one, just to clarify. NASDAQ rejected all the way back down here. All right, guys, so yeah, it's interesting. All right, guys, we got 20 minutes left before durable good orders drop. We'll cover it. Yeah, it's a wild market week this week. We got Nvidia earnings tomorrow at 4:20 Eastern Standard Time. We've got GDP data Thursday, jobless claims on employment Thursday, and then Friday we got PCE inflation. And so if you want to see where rate odds go moving into all this stuff, you got to watch the stream, you know, on those days, just because a lot of stuff's happening here with finance this morning and this week, I mean. Again, so Lutnick is speaking. He said monstrous discussion on defense firms on CNBC. He said going to see National and Economic Security Fund. He criticizes corporate giveaways. And he said we need to see, he said on stakes in companies, we need to see where US is adding fundamental value, and that the CHIPS Act was mishandled. On Intel, he said we agreed we got to make it fair for us. And the grant previously given to Intel asked for nothing. So that's where we're at right now. I don't know. I think Nvidia might beat, but it doesn't necessarily mean Nvidia's going up. Like, people sometimes have these unrealistic expectations for Nvidia, if that makes sense, right? So Nvidia, people sometimes, even if Nvidia beats, it doesn't necessarily mean it's moving up. A lot of the times what we've seen is companies beat EPS, beat revenue, and drop just because of unreasonable expectations for it. Guidance numbers not coming in like that much higher than they wanted them to be or whatever. And so it doesn't necessarily mean we're going up. It all depends on the numbers. If it comes in really, really good, of course, yeah, we could rip up from earnings. But if it doesn't come in great, you know, it's the reaction we might get is unknown. Yeah, Nvidia a lot of the time does beat and then sell off, and so yeah, the president also threatened more tariffs for countries with digital taxes. Do you guys think Nvidia goes up or down from their earnings? Up or down? Let me know in chat right now. Do you think they go up or down? Yeah, he said Commerce Secretary Lutnick said Lockheed Martin makes most of revenue from the U.S. government. And he said the UK government just nationalized British Steel. There's no sovereign wealth fund now. Up, down, down, up. Not sure, up or down. Kind of shows you how split everything is. Up, then down. Earnings are already priced in. That might be true. Again, the NASDAQ hasn't gone anywhere since 6:30. 7:30 market time. So the NASDAQ hasn't gone anywhere since 7:30. It's now 8:15. So the last 45 minutes, we've basically been flat. I'm trying to find some range to attack here, chat, but it's kind of boring. Again, we got durable goods, core durable goods, specifically the most important one here. Durable goods are new orders placed with U.S. manufacturers for long-lasting manufactured products, so expected life of greater or equal to 3 years. It includes everything from aircrafts, autos, machinery, appliances, electronics. It's released monthly by the Census Bureau. Headline durable goods include everything, but it's very volatile because big aircraft orders like Boeing and others can swing the numbers. An example is like if a big plane order can make the headline look strong even if demand is still weak, right? So they like to look at core durable goods, which excludes transportation items, strips out aircrafts and autos, gives a cleaner view of manufacturing demand, and markets watch this closer. Core capital goods orders, often called business investment orders, are important too. It's the most important number for markets since it hits at GDP growth and business confidence. So again, strong core orders can mean businesses are investing, which means we might have optimism. Weak numbers means firms could be cutting back and signal slowdowns. Look at the core numbers. We're going to cover it. Hot demand could make inflation sticky and Fed less likely to cut. Weak orders support the case for easing. And it's not the biggest reaction. We might not get a reaction here. Depends on what the numbers show up. If they show up mostly as expected, they're like, do y'all see this? There we go. Is that better? Yeah, maybe. Again, a strong report means yields are probably going to be up. A weak report could mean yields are down in terms of bonds. But we don't know what kind of market we're going to get here. Durable goods expected today. We're going to look at core again. We also have Bowman speaking at 210. Yeah, so durable goods today expected at negative 3.8%. Core is expected at 0.2%. Business inventory is expected at negative 3.8% as well. So most of the durable good orders and excluding defense are both expected at 3.8% that I'm showing. I'm showing negative 4% in some places as well. We also have the Case-Shiller House Price Index showing up. So we'll see what this does. This drops in about 15 minutes. Lutnick also said on U.S. stakes in companies that if businesses need government help, it is between CEOs and the president. He said if companies need help, the president will consider government stake for struggling tech companies. NASDAQ now flushing down here. We're at 448s right now. NVIDIA coming back down is what this is. Look at NVIDIA. But again, we're like the range seems to be expanding here. But we're still sideways. You know, we haven't really moved much, so we'll see. Amazon's breaking down a little bit. I appreciate it, guys. Yeah, y'all hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Expectations for durable goods are going to be at 3.8% negative month over month. Core is expected at 0.2%. Last time was 0.2%. So again, we're still flat, rebounding back up after cracking lows. Again, this is NVIDIA SPY, all pretty sideways and choppy this morning. Again, we got NVIDIA earnings tomorrow. That might be driving the chop potentially here. You know, I had the weirdest dreams. I had a dream last night. I was playing poker in some like mountain resort, and the cards kept getting wet, and it was bothering me in my dream. I have no idea what that means. Very strange, but that was my dream. I just now remembered it. Orsted reports approximately 60 billion rights issue according to Bookrunner. Tell me what that means in chat right now. Let me know. All right, so Ludnick's still speaking. He says the U.S. needs to make sure we are also in the game. Japan and Europe subsidize their auto companies. Yeah, I don't have any soft cotton around me, Sam. That's a good idea. I'll try to do it. Y'all get y'all's mind out the freaking gutter, okay? Get your mind out the gutter. I don't remember if I was winning or losing. But I remember being all excited for this island poker game, and then the cards kept getting wet, and I was like, this sucks, you know? Means my water bill's gonna be high. That's probably true. All right, guys, NASDAQ back up to 460s. Market's very flat right now. We're waiting on durable goods, see if that moves anything. SPY is basically sideways. NVIDIA is basically sideways. Gold's been pushing up, but even it on a longer term trend is sideways. United Health is starting to rebound back up, so it's kind of doing some stuff, but the market's not really moving. Makes sense. I mean, we're ahead of NVIDIA earnings. It was almost like a treehouse that I was in, you know? Like it was like a treehouse almost kind of thing. All right, let's ask ChatGPT. All right, so we're right back up. I could short this. Look at gold. So look at gold pop up. Gold at 34.27s. 34.27s. Yeah, we got durable goods in about 9 minutes. Okay, this is AI's interpretation of my dream. It's honestly not that bad. It says, your dream could mean you're excited about taking risks and playing the game, possibly trading or a business venture, but you feel that external factors, maybe emotions, distractions, or unexpected changes are making it harder to play with a clear hand. The treehouse suggests you're approaching this from a creative, unique place, but also perhaps slightly removed from reality. In short, you're eager for a challenge, but you sense the environment isn't stable enough to play at your best right now. That's AI's interpretation of my dream. NVIDIA is pushing up. It's almost at 181s. Here's 181s. So it's at 180.72. Here's 181s up there. We got to break over the top of that range, but I'm watching NVIDIA. All right, we're almost to 470s on the NASDAQ. We'll see if it holds. Well, I love poker, so it's not crazy for me to dream about poker because I love poker. Poker was I played poker before I traded, you know. So poker was like my original strategy game that I like. Hey, thank you, Sterling. I'm dreaming of a hot trade. Gold acting weird. I don't think gold's acting weird. Gold moves up on instability, and I think the president trying to fire Cook shows instability, and her refusing to resign shows some instability in markets right now. If people are fearing Fed's independence, and yeah, I would say that's uncertainty, and that's why gold's spiking up. The Nasdaq originally reacted negatively here to all this stuff early, so yeah, I play Hold'em. I don't ever play anything else. Alright guys, we're at almost 181s. 181s. John, have AI tell you your horoscope? Alright, so we're starting to move up. We're at 475s right now, 475. I don't believe in horoscopes. Plus, I'm not going to tell you, like, when I was born. You know, I'm good on that. Alright, we're at 469s. Let's see if the 200 exponential causes a bounce here. We got durable good orders in about 5 minutes here. It says, I'm a future-minded strategist who thrives when playing a unique game, not following the crowd. Independent, visionary, analytical, rational, detached emotionally, prefer logic, care about fairness, is what it says. Alright, so we're down to 465s right now, 465s. Again, we're sideways. Maybe durable goods are going to move the market. I don't know if they are. I've said it once again, if horoscopes are true, we're in a simulation. And that means you're a simulation. That's the only context in which horoscopes make any like genuine sense, is if we're in a simulation. If we're in a simulation, it kind of makes sense because that's how they order personalities in the simulation, right? It's the only context in which it makes sense. And so if horoscopes are true, bad news, you're probably a simulation, you know. Anyways, former Fed Governor Brainerd says the Fed is likely to cut by 25 basis points in September. I'm just kind of listening to the chat while the market's choppy. I don't believe in horoscopes. I think it's all nonsense. I'm not going to base my personality around the month that I'm born, as well as I think it's all confirmation bias anyway. You know, oh, I'm smart and creative and intelligent. Of course, everybody's going to be like, yeah, that's me. Anyways, durable goods coming out in 4 minutes, chat. 4 minutes. I don't mind pot limit Omaha. It's not bad. Like, I play it. I'm not used to being that strict in terms of range of my cards, right? Like, I like Hold'em because I don't have to be as strict. I mean, I'm still strict with my range, right? But in pot limit Omaha, especially like high you got to be really strict because there's 4 cards now. And so people are going to have ace, like 2 aces more, they're going to have 2 kings more, and all this different stuff. So you have to actually be really, really strict in those games. But you can almost have a bigger edge if you are that strict in Omaha. Anyways, 2.5 minutes here. All right, guys, we're at 469s. Why would they give you the exact date of birth? Because they have to track how old you are. You know? If not, you wouldn't know how old you are, you know, which might be good, but might not be. All right, guys. Hey, we got a minute and a half left. Let's see what we get. Hit the live button next to the play button. Hit the subscribe button. We'll see what this data shows up as. Again, durable goods expected at negative 3.8% month over month for July. Core durable goods expected at 0.2%. We'll see if this moves markets at all, but a higher reading on both of these might signal more inflation fears. A lower reading might signal more, increased odds of a rate cut, maybe, but we'll see. Again, you can put it in 2x speed. You can hit the live button next to the play button. Yeah, we got about a minute left. About a minute. All right, guys, 45 seconds. $30 seconds. It's kind of important for the market. I wouldn't say it's incredibly important, but it might move markets. I don't know. We'll see. We're watching it. We also got CB consumer confidence later, but here we go. We got 10 seconds left. Again, I hope you hit the live button, like I said. Here we go. We'll see the market reaction here. 5 seconds. And here's the report. Okay, durable goods waiting. Okay, durable goods orders came in at negative 2.8%, actually much stronger than expected. And core durable goods came in at positive 1.1%. Again, much better than expected. Durable goods month over month was still negative at negative 2.8% versus negative 3.8% expected. And month over month durables came in for core at over 1%, 1.1% versus 0.2% expected. So durable good orders actually came in a little bit better than expected here. A little bit better than expected. NASDAQ reacting positively to this. I'm wondering if yields are going to be going up on this report. I think they probably are. Again, a little bit stronger than expected durable goods everywhere. Yeah. I mean, here's yields, which, you know, follow interest rates. Yields are up a little bit from this report. And again, durables came in stronger than expected basically everywhere. Here, this is where durables show up. I'm going to put them on the bottom of the screen. There's durable goods. Here's core durable goods. Core durable goods 1.1%, still pretty good. All right, so they're now scrolling on the bottom of the screen here. And again, you can kind of see the NASDAQ react positively to this report. Stronger than expected durable goods. Maybe shows less weakness in the economy than expected. Maybe people want to see that right now. Yeah, durable goods a little bit better than expected here. All right, NASDAQ reacting favorably. Yields going up a little bit for durables. Still creeping up. We're at 475s here. Let's see if we can get over 475. We're over the 200 exponential. Let's see if the market gets over 475 now. But we're fighting our way back up. We're getting up there. Again, you can kind of see all the numbers like scrolling at the bottom of the screen now. So you can see them all scrolling at the very bottom. Yeah, I mean, durable goods, like I said, I don't know how much they're going to impact markets. Markets are actually reacting some to this, though. Like, look, they came out right here. And so markets are actually up from this report. It's not the biggest report. All right, Sam, have a good day, bro. Oh, I'll see you in a little bit. Sorry. Would this lower the chance of a Fed rate cut? A little bit. You can watch yields, right? If you want to see what they're doing to rate cut odds, you can watch yields. Yields and interest rates follow each other. So, slightly influencing yields on the upside. And the Nasdaq's reacting more favorably to this. So, again, slightly making yields higher, which shows a slightly higher than expected interest rate sentiment. I love you. Have a good day. Rate cut probability went up 2%. Rate cut odds should actually decrease on this report, which is interesting. But yeah, rate cut odds are up a little bit. You're right. Now 86.3% chance. But in theory, this shows a stronger economy than expected. More business investment into the economy. So in theory, it should make yields go up and rate cut odds decrease. But it's never a perfect science. It's somewhere, you know, it can be ambiguous and good, bad. Markets can do a lot of different stuff. 8:30 scrum probably happened, yeah. We'll see what we get. Stick around. We're going to trade the opening bell live, too. So. Again, we got a lot of fear today after the president is threatening to, or is essentially removing Governor Cook, or trying to, for calls. She has said that she's going to fight it, but a lot of people are fearful overnight. Markets originally reacting negatively. If we zoom all the way back here and we look at like late last night, you can see these drops, these big drops in markets. Markets have kind of ate it up though. This has gotten bought up here, and we've rebounded a pretty significant amount, and now we're all the way up to 475 again. But really, since all this stuff has happened, we've essentially been sideways. Could be stagflation, certainly. I'm surprised we're not hearing more stagflation comments, just because we have high inflation and weak labor. So that could be stagflation, you know. It certainly could. I'm not saying it is, but it could be. Turnaround Tuesday? Maybe. We did get bought up. Bitcoin's even bouncing right now. It's back over 110s. Gold has been moving on the upside a lot. See, we're still struggling to get over this 475 level. We're rejecting 475 pretty substantially here as well. Still dipping down, struggling to get over. Watch NVIDIA, though. I think NVIDIA is moving this a lot, especially leading into their earnings report tomorrow. A lot of people are just watching NVIDIA. We had the durable good numbers. Canadian factory sales went up 1.8% in July. Bitwise is now predicting Bitcoin could hit 3 million by 2035. So its 2035 price target is now 3 million. Or close to it. Lutnick also says the president is thinking about taking equity stakes in defense contractors. Again, Brainerd said the Fed is likely to cut rates by 25 basis points. A lot of people are agreeing we're probably going to cut in September. NASDAQ coming right back down. That 475 level we have on this chart, it's been a level we are struggling to get over. We've tried to get over this level a couple different times already, and just rejected right at it each time. Bitcoin is rising though, which is good. Yeah, AMD has been ripping up too. Yeah, so Bitcoin bouncing. We're getting some movement here. It looks good. It doesn't look terrible. We're so sideways right now though, but the trend is slightly upward here. So I do kind of want to buy this almost. I'm gonna try buying this. We'll see. A couple. If we get back up there. There we go. I hope we don't reject the 200 exponential here. I hope we continue higher, but let's see. We'll give it time. We might cut it though if we get all the way up there and then come all the way back down. That just shows some weakness. We're kind of flat now. We got the 200 EMA right here. We already tested it. I want to give it a chance to fill this gap. There we go. All right, we took half off there. That's nice. We're gonna ride this back up. We can get out here. Cut it here and just cut it. Get out green. Small little trade. I'm just glad we filled that gap and got back up there. It looks like we're going to make another push towards 475 though, but you never know. Might think about buying it again here. Yeah, I don't know. CB Consumer Confidence might. It's not the biggest report either, though. You know, we got the Case-Shiller House Price Index in 20 minutes too. So if you want to see where house prices are going, looks like me cutting it there was the right move. But again, the Case-Shiller House Price Index is in about 20 minutes. So we're gonna cover that too. And again, if you want to check out Top Step, beautiful way to help support the channel. We're day trading on Top Step right now. No PDT and futures. I'm biased, of course, because I get paid by them. But it's genuinely useful for traders. There's no PDT and futures. It gets you around the PDT rule. You can day trade the S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, Russell, all these other commodities and stuff. No PDT restrictions. And you don't have to deposit 25 grand to do it. It just makes sense, right? The patterns are very similar to day trading stocks. The base one's $50 a month. They give you a 50K demo. You pass it, you get a 50K funded account. 90% split. You fail it, you lose $50. It's not the end of the world. It's the best of both worlds. Similar split to funding your own account. Once you get funded, you get to keep your first 10K and then 90%. And if you fail it, you're out $50. But you're still risking something, so you're learning how to trade. And that's just a good environment to learn, in my opinion. But again, I'm biased. Understand all this stuff on screen. I can't guarantee anything. I'm not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose. Might be the worst trader ever. Don't copy me. Here's the link if you want to check it out. I'll pin it to the top of the chat as well. Yeah, you can learn without as much burn. You know, that's for sure. Nvidia historically goes up before earnings and then dumps afterwards. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have talked about how Nvidia kind of reacts negatively to their earnings report despite a beat or miss. I think it's going to depend on what the numbers show up as. If Nvidia beats massively, it's still probably going to go up. You never know for sure, but just in terms of probabilities, I think if it beats, it's probably going up. If not, I mean, even if it beats and it's not as big as people want it to, it could certainly go down. And we've seen that historically with Nvidia as well. Yeah, but beginners are going to fail anyway, Ryan. Like, people criticize, like, funded account programs, but, like, what's the better option? You think a better option is for a new trader to deposit 5, 10, 20, 30 grand into their own account? You know they're going to lose that most likely, right? So what's the better option? Learning on a $50 account with a little bit more strict rules, or depositing a huge chunk of their net worth to try to day trade a 10, 15, 20, $25,000 account? I think the funded account program is a way better option. It's kind of a middle ground between a paper account and a real account. Now, should they use it forever? I mean, that's up to the trader. I mean, if they're good enough, they can withdraw and fund their own account afterwards. And it teaches them risk management more than everything else in a cheaper way. And I think that's a very, very valuable thing. From somebody that lost thousands of dollars when I got started day trading, I don't think that's a bad thing. But it's subjective, I guess. All right, so again, we're over the 200 exponential. It looks like we're going to make another test of 475. That's a level we've been struggling to get over all day. Yeah, it's all good. Lost 24K when I was a newbie in options. I lost I started in penny stocks, right? So I've told this story before, but like I started in penny stocks. I thought I was just going to be some rich penny stock trader. I blame marketing out there for penny stocks. Most of the people that push penny stocks are acting like millionaire students and, you know, all this nonsense, right? Penny stocks are highly freaking volatile. They'll get halted. Like a penny stock will break highs, get halted. You're stuck in the position, and then when it opens back up, it might drop 30%. You might lose your whole account in one instance that you can't really avoid, you know? It's just a wild market. Way more people make more money selling courses on how to day trade penny stocks than they do actually day trading penny stocks. Even some of the biggest people out there in penny stock land. I just like teaching, guys. I don't really like trading. It's total nonsense, you know? But I thought I was going to be rich day trading penny stocks. I just lost 4 grand in about 2 weeks. Almost cried about it. Was not happy about it at all. And so, yeah, it just wasn't good. It was fun until I lost all that money. My wife, Carol, told me not to do it at the time, too. She was like, don't do it. You're going to lose it. She was right. I did lose it. Was not happy. All right, we're over 475. Let's see if we hold support here. One month I earned over 30K and lost the same amount, and last week I missed the upward move after Powell speaks, currently negative 10K. Yeah, that's how trading goes, man. And that's what I'm saying. Like, there's so much risk trading real live money, you know, in the beginning. It just, I think there needs to be a middle ground, and I think it's useful, you know. I think people lose and they get mad or whatever, but I think if they traded a real account, they'd probably lose more, you know. But everybody's different. Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to sell a course. I don't even claim to be a good trader here. Like, my channel's called Beginner Trading. I'm not a beginner. But I don't claim to be good. I don't want that pressure, to be honest. I'd rather not sell a course, not even claim to be a good trader. Set the bar low, and if I can outperform that low expectation, then I'm happy with it. And I think that's why the channel's grown, because I don't go out here trying to act like I'm a genius day trader. I just kind of tell people what works for me, or try to. And tell people what doesn't work for me, too, you know. But I don't want that pressure. I'm good, you know. I like economics more than anything anyway, and my swing trades are probably better than everything else that I do. I'm usually better at swing trading. But I don't know. Look it up, Audie. The link's pinned at the top of the chat if you want to check it out. Is the bottom in? I don't know. Hey, thank you, B30. Appreciate it, brother. Thank you, sir. Yeah, we're still heading up here. We're over 475. That was a big level, too. So now that we're over that, you can look at 490. You can look at 23.5s, which is kind of the top of the day at 23.5. So we went all the way up to 23.5s. Big hold number on the NASDAQ. So I'm looking at 23.5s up there. You're funny? Like funny haha? Or, you know. All right, we're up to 110 on Bitcoin. So Bitcoin back over 110. Bitcoin's been rebounding back up here. Look at Bitcoin. Hey, thank you, Gary. Appreciate it, brother. Thank you, sir. All right, NVIDIA at 180.60s. Yeah, I mean, we're in a big range now, but choppy still nonetheless. I mean, it's the day before NVIDIA earnings. I think it's a reasonable expectation of chopped. Yeah, my daughter and my wife and I watched The Departed yesterday. Talking about Scorsese. Great movie. Great movie. Yeah, I mean, we're over 475, which we've struggled to get over all day, essentially, here. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, my favorite's probably Goodfellas. I like Casino, too. I like Goodfellas and Casino. I like the 90s ones, because I thought they were just good, man. I like The Departed, too, though. All right, look at 475 test. NVIDIA is what's driving this chop as well. NVIDIA's sideways ahead of their earnings as well, right? So they're... NVIDIA sideways. Looks like a hot dog at this point in time. But NVIDIA's not moving right now. We got the Case-Shiller House Price Index in 10 minutes. Again, it's expected at 2.1% gain year over year for June. Last time was 2.8%. Look, I love Home Alone, the movie. I like John Hughes, okay? But Scorsese's better. You know, I like The Breakfast Club. I like John Hughes. I like Home Alone. But he's not really Scorsese, you know. All right, guys, we got 8.5 minutes. Hey, that's the new pattern, Blaze. That's what it is, man. That's it. I, for one, like you because you're honest. I like how you're advertising and saying you're biased. I'm the top 3 most biased ever. We got 8 minutes left until Case-Shiller. I don't think Case-Shiller data is going to move markets, but it will give us a look into house prices right now. So I'm curious about house prices at this point. All right, so we held 475. We're still heading up here. Watch 490. This might open up the green light for bulls to step in, considering we broke over a big milestone area on the chart this morning, as well as, you know, maybe people are optimistic about NVIDIA earnings. Yeah, I like the usual suspects as well. All right, 7 minutes. I like Pulp Fiction. I like Tarantino movies. I didn't like the Hateful Eight or whatever it was as much. It was okay. I didn't hate it. It was too long, personally. You know. But I like Pulp Fiction. I like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I thought those were great. Pulp Fiction is one of my favorite movies, but I like Reservoir Dogs. All right, so we're back down under 475. We're still chopping sideways though, guys. Bitcoin pulling back a little bit. NVIDIA up slightly. NVIDIA's bouncing right at the volume-weighted average price. Look at it right here. That's where it bounced directly off of. And look at the NASDAQ turn to the downside. Yeah, Django's good as well. All right, we're at 470s. See if there's any breaking news to drive this market. Barkin repeats August 12th speech, so he didn't really say anything worthwhile. Break it down, we're under 475s now. Bitcoin with the big red candle. Look at this drop here. So we're back down. Again, I don't really trust this enough to take any positions. But look at this decrease here. I don't see any news to cause this either. If you guys see any, let me know. But I don't really see it. I didn't like the Hateful Eight as much. I thought it was I've seen it. I thought it was good. But for whatever reason, I just didn't like it enough. I like Django. I like Pulp Fiction. I like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. The durable goods report was stronger than expected here. It was much stronger than expected. Core and regular durable goods were much more positive than expected. Regular durable goods were still negative at 2.8%, but they expected a negative 4% print. And so it was much better than expected. Again, Case-Shiller house price index is expected at 2.1%. 2.1%. Last time it was 2.8%. It drops in about 4 minutes here. Yeah, I like that one, Nick. That one's good. I liked it. Well, when markets are choppy, maybe, farmer. Listen, at a certain point, you run out of stuff to say. The NASDAQ sideways. It's not really doing anything. We've covered all the breaking news this morning. We've covered durable goods orders. We're going to cover the Case-Shiller house price index when it drops. We've traded, but the market has gone. Look at NVIDIA right now. NVIDIA earnings tomorrow. This is the market this morning. You know, so at a certain point, you run out of stuff to say. And so, yeah, you better believe I'm going to start talking about movies while I wait for the data to come out. If it gives me something to talk about, it's better than me sitting here quietly. If I sat here quietly, people will complain about that too. So That's how it goes. All right, so we're bouncing back up. Let's watch the 200 exponential here, 470s. We already tapped it. Maybe today's the day to attack chop. Favorite anime, probably like Dragon Ball Z. That's what I watched growing up a lot. All right, so we tried to make a push over it 2 minutes before the Case-Shiller data. We'll see what it looks like. New highs on the NASDAQ because NVIDIA earnings tomorrow? Maybe. Thank you for tackling the dead silence. Hey, you're welcome, man. Happy to help. I'll talk about movies all day. You can talk about movies or MMA or jiu-jitsu or there's a bunch of stuff I'll talk about all day. But I try not to make it take up too much of the stream. But we have our segments for it, you know. Alright guys, we got a minute and a half. Barkin is speaking right now. He warns that the U.S. workforce growth is basically zero without immigration. So we do have the Fed's Barkin speaking as of now. He said without immigration, workforce growth is basically zero. He just came out with that quote. Just came out with it. NVIDIA is actually green when a lot of stuff's red on the day. Alright, we got 1 minute left. Is it good news for rate cuts? It's actually a little bit the opposite of that. The durable goods order showed stronger than expected durable goods, which means a more business optimism in the economy. And so it's actually the opposite. It shouldn't, but rate cut odds are up, so it kind of goes to show you never know what's going to happen here. Actually, they're back down. So they're back down to 85%. They're basically flat. They haven't really moved. We got 25 seconds left here, chat. 25 seconds left. Yeah, see the DJTcrypto.com deal news. All right, here we go. Let's see what this shows. It's about to drop right now. In about 10 seconds. Hit the live button next to the play button. We'll cover durable goods as soon as it comes out, but... Or the Case-Shiller, Case-Shiller House Price Index expected at 2.1%. It instead showed up at 2.1%. It's completely flat. So the Case-Shiller House Price Index, house price is unchanged. 20 SA month over month came in at negative 0.3% versus negative 0.3% last time. The year over year for June showed up at 2.1% versus 2.1% expected and 2.8% last time for the Case-Shiller House Price Index. I'll put this data up on chat. U.S. monthly home prices now at 2.6% versus previous 2.8%. Case-Shiller again showed 2.1% versus 2.1% expected. Yeah, unchanged, basically, house price data. So we didn't really move much on this report. I like Shawshank. Shawshank's good. Yeah, so again, flat data here, guys. Flat data. House price index, month over month, negative 0.2% versus negative 0.1%. A little bit weaker than expected. House price year over year, 2.6 versus 2.9% last time. But the Case-Shiller house price index was basically flat. And again, activist investor 5span is reportedly going to take a stake in New York Times, according to Bloomberg. Yeah, I would say... everything's pretty slow this morning. We're not really doing much here. See what we get this morning. No, I don't watch that. Perfect. I'm getting too old. I don't have time to watch some of those shows anymore, bro. Like, I got kids, I'm married, you know. I gotta run this, I gotta run a bunch of other stuff. Like, I don't have time to get into some of that anime, man. I'm old. Like, the anime I watched, like, I watched Dragon Ball Z. Like, I watched Pokemon, kinda. I traded Pokemon cards in the 90s, you know. Like, I'm getting old, man. Like, I played the original Pokemon game on Game Boy, you know. My favorite video game is Ocarina of Time, you know. So, like, I'm old. I don't watch any of that other stuff because I don't have time. I'm in my 30s. I'm 65, you know. All right, we're breaking down. We're at 466. Yeah. I don't know. I got a 16-year-old. She makes me feel old. That's all I'm saying. All right, so we're starting to pop back up. Again, we're so flat right now. The only thing to really do is attack choppiness. All right, so the NBH says they're going to have a careful and patient approach to monetary policy is needed. Restrictive policy supports financial market stability, and CPI may reach target in early 2027. The report was flat. Yeah. All right, guys. AMD moving up. I see Nvidia started to creep up a little bit. AMD got upgraded a couple times this morning. So AMD has been rising a lot this morning. It got upgraded. A couple other things that are moving it. Yeah, I remember I had a Game Boy that was broken, you know, and I didn't get a new one. I couldn't get a new one. I didn't have the money to get a new one when I was a kid, and so it had to stay plugged in at all times. The batteries didn't work, right? So the only way I could play it is if I was plugged into an outlet. And so it also wouldn't save. I remember it wouldn't save at all, right? So I had to keep it plugged into the outlet, and it wouldn't save. So I had to keep it on at all times, plugged into the outlet. If somebody accidentally knocked it off the outlet, I would have to start the whole game over again. I distinctly remember that. All right, Nasdaq starting to flush back down again. We're so choppy right now. I'm tempted to buy the bottom and short the top, but then my luck is going to be as soon as we do that, somehow the market is going to end up going up. I had a Game Shark. I don't think I had Game Gear. I had a Game Shark. All right, we're breaking down. We're at 465s, 464s. Under the 200 exponential still. AMD still pushing up though. Again, AMD did a upgrade as well as they announced some type of deal this morning. So AMD is up, an IBM partnership and an upgrade this morning. So the chip maker unveiled a quantum-centric supercomputing partnership with IBM, and they got an upgrade from a Wall Street firm. And so that's why AMD is running up this morning. The last economic report we got coming out today is CB consumer confidence. Again, I don't know if any of this stuff's going to move markets. Tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday are going to be larger, most likely. But look how sideways we are, dude. Look at this. This is literally what we've gotten for the last 15 minutes here. How do you trade this? You can try to buy this, but is the range large enough to do that? I don't know. I don't know. Streets of Rage. I remember Streets of Rage. That's the motorcycle game where you could kick people off the motorcycles, right? Let me see. Or no. No, Streets of Rage. No, I remember Streets of Rage. Streets of Rage were one where you could hit people with stuff and pick them up and throw them, and you kept. It was a 2D game, but it was. I remember Streets of Rage. I don't know what the motor. That was Road Rash. Yeah, I'm thinking of Road Rash. Yeah, I remember you could like pull up on the cars in Road Rash and just ride them. I remember that. So long ago. At least some people remember. Yeah, that's good. Alright guys, hey, we got 20 minutes left until the opening bell. We're very, very choppy. Although AMD's moving, Nvidia... Yeah, we can't get over the 200 exponential here. We're trying. Yeah, no, I remember buying a Game Shark for my, I remember buying a Game Shark thinking I was going to just be cheating. And then I remember I plugged it into one of my systems and it got me like banned immediately. Or they like penalized me and I was super upset and then they locked it down. I can't remember what it was. I think it was an N64 is what I got it for. But it's been a while. SoFi seems like a good business. It seems like a good business. And it's been making some moves lately for SoFi. Like SoFi up to $26. It was at what, like 15 a couple days ago? Yeah, a couple months ago. 15, 16 bucks. So SoFi has had a big run recently. And it's made big moves. It's up to over $26 a share now. So I do like SoFi as a company. I'd prefer to buy it on a pullback versus all-time highs. But I don't dislike it. I'm not an investment professional. I don't know what's going on. Generally, I like buying companies that are pulling back. If you guys have any ideas for companies that are pulling back, let me know. I'll buy them up if they look good. But, because some games in the N64, if you try to mod them with, you know, things like Game Shark, they would penalize you for it. Is what would happen. Yeah, I like SoFi. Program. I'm a JavaScript, React Native, Python programmer as well, you know. Also have my real estate license, you know. I like Palantir, but Palantir, the problem is the PE ratio for me. You know, Palantir still, even with this big pullback, the PE ratio in Palantir is still probably at least, what, like 500? Like, just to put this into perspective, a good price to earnings ratio is about 15 to 20 to 30, maybe, depending on what the average is. Palantir is literally 500 PE. Because of that, while I think Palantir as a company itself might do really well, I'm skeptical about the price of the stock. Because right now it's purely momentum driven, and so it could go up really big. It also could drop really big, and so there's risks. I'm not saying I don't like it. I like Palantir as a company. I think the company itself is solid, but I think the price is elevated. So. All right, we got the opening bell. 20 minutes. Well, Chime seems to be a similar thing to SoFi, but I don't like the trend so far on Chime. Chime is down a lot since it IPO'd. It IPO'd at about 45. It hit highs on IPO day at about 45. It's at 26 now, so it's pulled back a large percentage. I just don't know enough about the company, and it doesn't have a long enough history in public markets to really make a bet on it for me. I got to be strict with stuff I buy, especially like swing trades and investments. It's too unknown for me. Yeah, Halo was really my game. Halo 2, Halo 3. Hey, I played Halo 1 with my friends at home. So Halo was really my favorite game. It's definitely my favorite online game. All right, so we're gonna try to make a push up over 475. Yeah, CoreWeave has pulled back substantially here. Kind of an AI company. It's just so volatile as well, though. There's risks, and it doesn't have a long enough history after its IPO back in March to really justify buying it for me either. It's high risk, high reward, though. It might hold. I'm not sure, though. All right, so rejecting still at 475, still struggling to hold over it. APLD. APLD is interesting. A little cheap for me to buy, but it's been on a long upward trend. I mean, APLD is up 60% since the beginning of this month. A little bit too up there for me. I'd prefer to buy a pullback instead. All right, guys, we got the opening bell soon. Let's see what we get. Yeah, I mean, I bought United Health because United Health seemed like a good dip buy. If anybody's been watching this stream for the last month, you guys know I bought United Health way down here. My average price was about $240 right here. So I bought United Health way down there. And the reason I bought it is simple, is because good PE, huge pullback from, it's down 50% or more, over 50% from highs at the beginning of this year, $600 highs at the beginning of this year. So 50% pullback in a relatively healthy company with a low PE ratio means there might be some value there. I mean, I got lucky in some content, like in some ways as well. I think I bought it, and then a week later, Warren Buffett announced that he bought it, right? And so that obviously boosted United Health, or not Warren Buffett, but Burke announced that they bought it. So that propped my position up a little bit, and then we ended up selling at about 305. I can't remember exactly where. And it's basically been flat since then, so maybe it was a good move. I don't know. But I'll take it. Again, we're still in HIMS. We bought HIMS as well. We bought Crocs at the same period of time. We bought PayPal. We're green on all those positions. Every position we're in right now, we're green. So it looks like it was the right time to buy, but a lot of uncertainty in markets right now, especially right now. Sorry, I'm just now realizing I'm in top chat instead of live chat, so there's some stuff that I didn't actually see from people. Alright guys, 13 minutes left. We had some earnings come out today, didn't we? Hold on, let me see. Yeah, we did. Nothing big, though. Most of the big earnings are done. Lockheed Martin, I don't really. It's interesting. It's up a lot. That. Good long-term trend. Not the most crazy gains, but consistent. And so, you know, at the bottom of the range long-term as well, which, you know, could be interesting. I don't hate it. Yeah, I'm out of UH, or UNH. I cut it. I'm not really doing anything right now. I'm just waiting for this market to break out of this range. But again, it's the day before NVIDIA earnings, so we might get just choppy sideways momentum. We might not get anything good today. Ahead of big catalysts, sometimes the market is even more sideways. And so ahead of stuff like that, we might just get chopped. Yeah, my mistake in Halo was I never was good at the battle rifle or the DMR. Like, I was always good at the assault rifle. And so then once they introduced that and people got really good at that, I just wasn't as good anymore. You know, I still played. I like playing big games, like battle games, but yeah, I just couldn't play anymore. I don't know. I think NVIDIA needs to do really, really well to go up. But you never know. NVIDIA earnings are so volatile. We could move up, down, sideways to, you know. NVIDIA can beat EPS, beat revenue, beat guidance, and drop. Or NVIDIA can miss EPS, miss revenue, and still go up. You know, I think either one of those things are going to happen. I think the more polarized we are in one specific direction, the more likely it is that we go in that direction in terms of price action. But with earnings, you know, people always like to take these big gambly trades ahead of earnings. It's such a risk. It makes absolutely no sense. Unless you're holding long term, do whatever you want to do. But don't take up some huge position ahead of earnings like you somehow know what the stock is going to do from earnings. Like, it's just a way to justify gambling, in my opinion. So just be careful. We can make big moves on the upside or downside from NVIDIA earnings. Nobody knows. They go. So the NVIDIA earnings come out at 4:20 tomorrow afternoon Eastern Standard Time. The actual earnings calls later. A better way to say that would be 99% of gamblers never win. Well, never win big, I should say. Bitcoin coming back down after rebounding a little bit, back under one, or still right around 110,000, and at least in Bitcoin futures. Are we buy or sell right now, chat? Let me know. Do you guys think there's a buy or sell time? Put it up in chat. Let me know. Yeah, NVIDIA's had a crazy 5-year period. That's for sure. NVIDIA's 5-year period's been wild. Sell. Wait. Neutral. Hold. It's interesting to get the chat sentiment. Most people are either sell or wait, which kind of shows you the fears in markets right now. Only a couple buys. Yeah, will we get a September slump this year? I think it's possible. It depends on what we do for rates. I don't know if rate cuts are off. It's a question, and I think it has to do with Fed independence and pressure. Maybe I should change this to just rate cuts, question mark. Probably a better one. I think they cut and then later reverse it. It's possible. It depends on what the inflation data shows up as. If they cut next month and then inflation shows elevation, they could reverse it. So, all right, guys, 7 minutes. Again, I said this on Top Step TV the other day. I'll say it again. My favorite trading quote is money is not made in trading. Money is made in waiting. And I think that's the best quote in markets because it's hard not to trade sometimes. But especially for me who's like publicly streaming, you know, we got 800 people here. It's hard not to give them something to watch. But some days are not necessarily meant for this. And so just understand that. NASDAQ's starting to push up though. We'll see if we can get some stuff after the bell. I thought it was weird that bonds went up, or I thought it was weird that bonds went down. I don't think it's strange bonds went up on the news of that, Tony, because that shows instability. Oh, sorry, bump the mic. That shows questions about the Fed's independence. But yeah, I guess that makes sense. But I think anything that's fearful of markets might make yields up. But NASDAQ's coming back down. We got 6 minutes left. Yeah, I think it depends on the data. You know, if inflation comes in elevated, it means we're less likely to cut rates because in order to justify rate cuts, you need a weak economy and price stability. So if we show signs that we don't have price stability, the Fed's going to be less likely to cut rates. I still think they're going to cut, but it also depends on the labor market. The labor market, if it shows strength, kind of like durable goods today, it means we're less likely to cut because to justify cuts, we need weak labor, weak labor market. The Federal Reserve, their job is to maintain balance. They have their, quote, dual mandate, which means they want low inflation and a, strong labor market. Which is kind of like I want my cake and eat it too. But still, I think you got to understand the Fed's trying to control both sides, right? If the economy needs economic stimulus, if the economy shows weakness in the labor market and it looks like the economy might be heading towards a recession or depression, the Fed can step in and bring interest rates down. If it's a really desperate, like really dire situation, the Fed will step in and do QE, which is print money, injecting liquidity, helping bring interest rates down even faster. The consequence of that, though, is inflation. And a lot of crypto people are pushing for QE, but the consequence is going to be inflation. If we do QE, the consequence is going to be inflation, right? So you have to ask yourself, like, is inflation spiking up a lot justifiable just because Bitcoin goes up or altcoins go up or whatever it is? I don't know. And I'm in Bitcoin. I'm in some altcoins too. But I worry about inflation as well. And on the other end of it, if inflation's a problem, the Fed will then raise interest rates, what's called a hawkish or restrictive cycle, trying to kind of push the labor market, push spending down a little bit. When interest rates are low, businesses can expand and hire more people, and it benefits the labor market. And when interest rates are high, that dynamic is less, right? So it kind of restricts the labor market, helps combat inflation a little bit. Spending, people spend less, they have less access to leverage and all this different stuff. So that's kind of the Fed's job. But again, right now, I think we have signs of high inflation and weak labor. So we're somewhere in the middle right now. I still think you could probably justify a small cut of 25 basis points, especially in September. I thought you could probably justify it last month as well. But yeah. I think we got to watch NVIDIA as well today. AMD. Hey, thank you. Thank you, man. All right, guys, we got 2.5 minutes. Two minutes. Yeah, QE is the Fed printing money. The way they do it is they basically create online money, and then they use that online money to buy up a bunch of bonds and other assets, injecting liquidity into those markets and helping bring interest rates down. Because interest rates, you got to understand, interest rates and yields follow each other, but bond prices and yields inverse each other, right? So if you buy up a bunch of bonds, what happens to yields, guys? Anybody know? I.e. interest rates, you know. I don't know about Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin's not really down that much. Look at Nvidia's drop ahead of the opening bell here. Wow, look at this drop. Let's see if there's some breaking news for Nvidia. RTX Pratt and Whitney awarded 2.8 billion F135 production contract. Could just be the market on open data. Less than a minute here, chat. But man, look at Nvidia dump down ahead of the opening bell here. Interesting. Yeah, I don't see any Nvidia breaking news yet, but maybe. Look at Nvidia down to 180s here. Yeah, we're starting to creep up. Nvidia dipping down to 180s right now. We got 10 seconds left. Hit the live button next to the play button. Put it in 2x speed. You'll always be caught up. But man, look at Nvidia drop ahead of the opening bell. All right, here we go. Here's the open. Good luck. All right, there's the bell. Nvidia down to the previous closing price, but the NASDAQ is shooting up at the opening bell. Just tapped 490s. AMD's moving up a little bit as well here. Nvidia rebounded all the way back up from this big 3-candle drop it did right before the opening bell. Look, we tapped 490s. Look at that. All right, so we came all the way back down, and now we're pushing up again. I'm worried about chop. United Health is up to 306 here. NASDAQ tapped 490, came right back down, but Nvidia is still ripping up. It's hitting 180s now. Look at 490. We're back over that, over 490s now. Nvidia over 181s. AMD went all the way up to almost 170s here. So we are seeing tech run a little bit. All right, we're popping up. Look, we just tapped 23.5. 23.5 is a big level. Again, y'all be careful right now, because a lot of stuff's choppy. Applied Digital is up, Nvidia's up, AMD is pulling back some here. But we could have chop ahead of this. We're back up to 23.5s again. See, look at that pullback. We're too close to the bell. We're only about 2 minutes in. So I gotta let this settle down first before I trade. Look at the NASDAQ pop here. Back up to 505s. Look at this level now. Just ripping past it, though. AMD starting to fight its way back up here. Look at this. Big moves at the open. Cannabis stocks running, somebody said. They're down a little bit since the last 45 minutes, but still trying. Bitcoin up a little bit since the bell, too. So we broke past the high of the day. Now we're rejecting a little bit, but I might buy 490s if we get down there. We'll look for 490s here. We might not catch it, but I'll look for it. Nope, never caught it. I was going to buy a pullback to 490, just never got it. Still rip it up. Nvidia and AMD both down a little bit now, though, but it doesn't mean they're not going to rebound back up. They could remain choppy as well here. All right, testing highs of the day right now. Testing highs of the day. Again, check out Top Step if you want to help support the channel. Get you around the PDT rule. Get started for 50 bucks. If you fail, you're out 50 bucks. If you pass it, you get a 50K funded account, 90% split. You get to keep your first 10K prior to that split kicking in. So similar reward to funding your own account. $50 risk allows you to risk something, so you learn how to trade with some risk, but not the full extent of funding your own account thousands of dollars. And so it's the best of both worlds. They pay out millions, fund thousands. Great way to learn how to day trade. Futures market very similar to day trading stocks. Patterns are similar. No PDT rule. A lot of cool stuff. Here's the link if you want to check it out. They're a sponsor of mine. I'm biased. I get paid by them. Top 3 most biased ever. Don't copy me. But there's the link right there if you want to check it out. We might bounce at 5 right here. Yeah, look. Here's 5. 23.5. I almost want to short this. I'm going to try shorting this small. It's a risk. Don't copy me. All right, we're going to take half off there. Yep. Take another half off there. All right. A little scalp at the top. I think it's going to break down more here, honestly, but I might be wrong. Yep. There's 490. Look at these levels, bro. Top 3 levels ever. Look at that level right there. That 490 level. Look at that. We're battling 5 right now. 23.5, big milestone psychological level. Nvidia is actually technically red on the day. Or kind of flat, but close to red. AMD's breaking down too. Alright, so again, consolidation now after moving up. The obvious move would be on the upside. A reversal move would obviously be on the downside. But I think we got to get over some levels here to really get up there. We'll see if we get over 505. All right, now we're over it. Let's see if we hold. If Nvidia bounces at the previous closing price, we might head back up here too. Oh, we got CB consumer confidence data at 10. I forgot about that. All right, so here we're breaking down. Let's watch 475. We might play a bounce there if we get down there. Maybe a rejection at 490. Nah, we're gonna wait. It might still reject here. Yep, there it goes. But I'm gonna wait. I think we're gonna get chopped, so I'm gonna try to buy it at 475 if we can get down there. Not quite down there. Might miss my buy entry here. Hold on. 475. It really was about 477, but close enough. Just kind of missed it. Yep. Maybe I should start entering these a little bit early, a tad bit early right there. That's my 475 bounce area. It might still pull back to it. I don't know if I like it as much if it pulls back to it, though, because it's a retest. But we'll give it some time. We'll see what happens. Oh, wait, I just looked up. We actually just broke underneath it. Again, I don't know if I like it as much. It's a retest. Could bounce still, but it's not as A+ of a setup, if that makes sense. Yeah, see. Okay, my logic's good today. That's good. Now we're starting to get some red action show up. Again, the imbalance showed up mostly negative and everything. How do you find these levels? They're self-drawn. I use a mix of confirmation, support and resistance, milestone levels, isolation levels. Alright, so now we're ripping back up here. Let's see if we get 490. Big swings. I'll try to catch 490, but it's been moving like a little bit early. I'm gonna buy this actually. There's 4. We're almost green. There we go. Take half off. Let the rest ride up here. Give it some time. It looks like it wants to go higher, but it's struggling. So we're going to reduce our size 1. Give it some more time, be a little loose on the rest. There we go. All right, we're out. So far, so good. Very choppy open, which is what we kind of expected the day before Nvidia earnings. Some days I hold it longer. I don't know if today's one of those days. All right, looks 23.5. We're at 23.5 right now. All right, we're creeping up towards highs of the day. We'll see if we hold. We're getting up there. All right, we're testing highs of the day again. We're up to 510s. We do have CB consumer confidence data. It is now about 9:45. We just broke highs of the day. I'm watching 525 up there. I think a pullback makes sense, but I also think that we could get a squeeze down if the pullback doesn't work. Look at 505 here. prefer a little bit larger of a pullback, to be honest, to buy into. I still think there's a good chance it holds here, though. Maybe not. I'm gonna buy this now. We'll give it a second. We'll add a little bit down. See if we retrace back up fast. There we go. We'll hold the rest. There we go. Here's a new candle. Well, let's test 490 as my risk, but we're very close to hitting it. We're heading back up a little bit, it looks like, but not really holding. It moves up and then it moves right back down. I'll give it a second. There we go. Gonna head up for me now. I'm gonna cut this. It's just not holding. So green trade, but not really holding some. Yeah, we got CB consumer confidence data coming soon. Looks like me cutting where I did was right. All right, sideways chop. We got an M pattern here. AMD and Nvidia red on going red since the open. Nvidia technically red on the day. AMD is heading towards its red to green level, the previous closing price. We're back under 23.5s, under the 200 exponential as we speak here. Nvidia is still breaking down quickly. Again, we got consumer confidence data in about 10 minutes. But look, some red showing up here. Ugh. 13 minutes left. We got two options here. You could attack chop and expect us to bounce back up, or you could short a pullback here. I like shorting a pullback a little bit better, but I don't know if it's necessarily super high percentage right now based off of, you know, what's going on. And so I'm green, but small. If we get like a big pullback quickly, I might short that. But it need to be a large pullback. Small is not good enough. Too high of a chance of choppiness. One large enough, and we might keep breaking here. There's a pullback. I don't know if it's big enough though. I'd rather attack like 460. Didn't quite get it. We got 457. Maybe I should have taken 457. I'll give it time then. Maybe 465 would be better anyway though, in hindsight. Not quite up there. I'm missing my entries by about a couple dollars today. Very close, but not quite catching them. All right. Yeah, not quite catching up. I said 460, which is right. Just to put this into perspective, 460 short would have been right here. So that's how some days go, I think. But my ideas are right today. At least it seems like that, but just didn't really catch them. So coulda, woulda, shoulda, but Bitcoin's still falling down some here. We got 10 minutes left, essentially, since until CB consumer confidence data. We'll see what that looks like. Again, CB consumer confidence data expected at 96.4. Previously it was what, 97.2. All right, now we're rebounding back up. There's 460s. I think it's too late. We've already tested it though. So a retest I don't like nearly as much as the first test of the level, right? If the level's good, the first test might hold. The second test chips away at it a little bit more. It becomes less probable that we're actually gonna like hold under that level, if that makes sense, right? And so that's the way I attack these levels. I'm not saying it's perfect, but that's how I use it. Yeah, thank you, Sam. Appreciate it, bro. Thank you, man. Now we're over the 200 exponential. Watch 490, watch 5. This is a big rebound back up, though. Nasdaq's pushing. Here's the 200 exponential and 475. Yeah, 480 looks okay too, Pawn. We got some confirmation there as well for sure. Maybe we'll bounce at 460 now if we hit it. So look at 460s. We did bounce right there, close to it. I need more wood. Yeah, it's the top 3 greatest kitchen of all time ever in the world. You know, this whole room is wood. Look at this. You know, even the windows are kind of like wooded. Uh-oh, I might have messed up my camera here. There we go. All right. Top 3 kitchens ever, right here. The cook of Wall Street is here. Okay. Again, Nvidia down at 179s. Nvidia down. AMD bounced right at that previous close. Palantir heading up. Y'all get y'all's mind out the gutter here, okay? We're up to 23 fives. Tapped 505. Let's watch 490. See if we get a little pop at 490. Nope. Maybe. Nope. And we are bouncing a little bit around 490-ish. Not quite there. Palantir is ripping back up, testing highs, but we've been very choppy this morning, and even in Palantir. Palantir are technically green on the day now for the first time since the opening bell. First time today, Palantir technically green on the day, actually. So Palantir up to 157.50 right now, 157.50. Hey, thank you, Lee. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you, sir. $10 for my water bill. Got it. I need this too, you know. My wife's nickname is the plant murderer, so, you know. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you, man. Nvidia back up, though. Look at Nvidia fight its way back up, actually. Technically green on the day for Nvidia. Back and forth, though. Kind of sideways. Yeah, Nvidia back up, tapped 180. Again, less than 4 minutes before CB consumer confidence data. Yeah, Carol buys up a bunch of plants. Waters them for about a month. And then we got a plant graveyard in our yard. Sets up complicated sprinkler systems, making my water bill high. And then we literally had a geyser in our backyard, like 7-foot geyser of water from the sprinkler system she set up. You know? Yeah, I've been calling her that since before I streamed. Plant murder? Yeah. Alright, guys. Hey, we got 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Alright, here we go. Markets are choppy. I don't think they're waiting for CB consumer confidence. They could be anything, you know. We will see here, chat. We will see. Hey, thank you, Reggie. My guy, thanks so much. Reggie Bush. Give that man back his Heisman. You know? Especially in modern age. Alright, we got 2.5 minutes. Yeah, 23.5 right here. Very flat. we take a look at the Fed rates here. Rate cut odds are now up to almost 90% again. They're 88.3% versus 11.7% for Powell's. So almost 90-10 again for rate cut odds next month. All right, here we go. 1 minute left, chat. Hey, later, Corey. Have a good day, bro. Yeah, appreciate it, man. Less than a minute here. What's up, Rich? Palantir. Yeah. Thank you, Raymond. All right, 20 seconds. Hit the live button next to the play button. Put it in 2x speed to make sure you're fully caught up. We'll see what this data shows up as. Again, we got less than a minute. It's expected at 96.4. Expected at 96.4. We'll see what it looks like. $96.4 is expected. All right, here we go. And here's the report right now. Okay, there's the report. 97.4 versus 96.4 expected. Greater than expected consumer confidence. 97.4 versus expected 96.4, previous of 97.2. Again, 97.4 versus expected 96.4, previous of 97.2. So a little bit stronger than expected, making markets pop up a little bit for CB consumer confidence data, showing up a little bit stronger than expected. Again, CB consumer confidence data is out. We had the Richmond manufacturing index show up at -7 versus -11. A lot of manufacturing showing stronger than expected. I guess that would make sense under the tariff threats. But again, CB consumer confidence a little bit stronger than expected. Markets are up. Again, we showed up at 97.4 versus 96.4 expected, 98.7 previously. Markets have somewhat reacted positively, but again, we're choppy here in markets. Choppy. Not really much of a reaction here. Tomorrow's NVIDIA earnings, Thursday GDP, Friday's PC data. But hey, guys, listen, I appreciate you guys showing up here today. Again, if you want to check out Top Step and learn to day trade in a structured environment with less risk, it just makes sense. There's no PDT in futures. You can day trade the S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, Russell, gold, some currencies. No PDT rule. Great way to learn when most day traders lose. And yeah, most day traders lose money. There's CB Consumer Confidence. So again, if you want to check out Top Step, I'll put the link up one more time. They're a sponsor of mine. I'm biased, of course, because I get paid by them. Genuinely useful for traders, though. Genuinely useful. But yeah, you want to check it out? Here's the link. Hey, y'all have a good day. I'll be on Top Step TV at 2 p.m. today. So I will be on Top Step TV at 2 p.m. Markets are choppy. Y'all just be careful. And yeah, have a great day. I'll see you guys later. Y'all be good. Understand all this stuff on screen. I can't guarantee anything. I'm not an investment professional. Understand all this stuff right here. Understand all of this right here. All of this stuff on screen. I can't guarantee anything. Don't copy me. No idea what I'm talking about half the time. Quarter of the time. Maybe 90.